seven, six, five, four, three, two, one.
What is good, everyone? It is your boy Politic and Hot alongside my guy, Mr. Joey Woods, Mr. Moya Fit Chris Wilson, Mr. Rich Michaels will not be joining us this evening. However, we are still steps coming to you live on a beautiful Friday evening, courtesy of All Authentic Talk Sports Network. Mr. Joey Woods, how are you doing this evening, sir?
I'm doing good. I'm ready for the weekend and excited for the interview we got tonight.
Absolutely. We definitely got a lot of pro wrestling coming up this weekend. So we got to have that turnbuckle talk as we do every Friday evening. But first, before we do jump into the weekend's turnbuckle talk regards to AEW Dynasty, as well as the week's events of SmackDown and Raw, we have two very special guests joining us here on the Still Steps. First, she hails from Santa Carla, California. She is a pro wrestler and she has a couple of events that are coming up. And before we even dive into those particular events, we're going to talk to her and talk about her pro wrestling journey. She is Miss Angel Metro joining the Still Steps. Angel, how are you doing this evening?
Doing fine. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. We greatly appreciate you being here on Still Steps. So, Angel, what we do here on Still Steps, when we have a first-time guest, we like to pick their brains as far as the first time being exposed to pro wrestling. So, for you, Angel Metro, what was the first time you were exposed to pro wrestling?
Yeah, so it's kind of a locked-in story, but when I was a kid, I would like stay up late after school, like late night, and watch Star Trek, X-Files, like Buffy the Vampire, like all the weird sci-fi shows. And so I was flipping through the channel one night and I stopped because there was like this scene. It kind of looked like a horror movie, and but it was real. It was like there was like a cage, and like one guy throws the other guy off, and it's just like I'm like, I don't know, 6 probably. And I was just like, what is this? And it ended up being the 98 Hell in a Cell between Undertaker and Mankind. So that was like the first time I ever actually really saw wrestling. You know, like you'll see wrestlers here and there in like media and stuff, but I never really like sat down and watched it. But after that, I was like, okay, this is really cool. Like, what is this? So yeah, that was my first.
That's an excellent exposure to professional wrestling, I'll tell you that.
Seriously.
For what I do, yeah, definitely. What I like for sure.
Now, being exposed to the Hell in a Cell match, at that point, I'm assuming that's when you started watching wrestling faithfully. At what age did you say, you know what, I can do this? Like I can be a pro wrestler.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that didn't shift in me until like I started training like 3 years ago. So it was pretty quick when I decided to like do it. Yeah, but it's only been 3 years. I was a musician for years before I started wrestling, so I like had a whole like thing with that, and so yeah.
So you just told us that your first exposure was Hell in the Cell, which was for 6 years old is pretty graphic and
pretty badass.
Pretty badass, honestly. Like yeah. I exposed my kid to deathmatch all the time, and like so there's no shame there in that game. But what was when you decided to take that leap into wrestling, right? Did you always want to do like deathmatch in the hardcore style, or did that happen kind of organically?
Yeah, no, I definitely wanted to do deathmatch off the bat. I got into wrestling because my former partner was a deathmatch wrestler, and he had passed away. 3 years ago. And so when that happened, it kind of just like blew everything up in my world, you know? And yeah, I don't know what it was. Something just shifted in me, and I had never done anything like with wrestling before. You know, he tried to teach me like how to lock up and like gave me some arm drags on the trampoline, but there was nothing like where I was like in the ring running the ropes or anything like that. But once that happened, I kind of just, I don't know, something shifted in me. And so yeah, I just dove into it, and I love hardcore and I love deathmatch. You know, I love ultra violence. And so I love all kinds of wrestling, but that's definitely something that's like a passion of mine. So when I decided to start training and to wrestle, it was definitely like that's going to be happening, much to the chagrin of everyone around me who tries to talk me out of it constantly.
Listen, the deathmatch community is a better place because you're in it. Because like any show that you're there, you always bring the positivity. So I definitely applaud you for that. But listen, the last couple matches I saw you in have been some like heavy hitter men. Like we're talking about like Louis and a 4-way, I believe it was, at the half pipe show, and then a 6-way at the boxing ring. Like you're going in the deep end with some pretty big men in the deathmatch scene. Like, do you have a preference when you're doing this, intergender versus women, or it's like just give me everyone? I want to check every big name off of my book.
I mean, I make it a point to not turn down a match because of someone's like gender or size. Because if I do, then that just shows my limitations as a wrestler and me not stepping up to the challenge of like, how do I get creative? How do I use my skill set? What can I do here? You know, I think that should be something that all wrestlers do. I've ran across some male wrestlers that are like, you know, I don't do intergender, blah, 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 which is fine. You know, you live your own life, you do what you want with your wrestling. But I think that kind of sells themselves short as a wrestler. You know what I mean? Like as an actual wrestler, not just an entertainer, but as a wrestler, it's like if you can't figure out a way to wrestle someone that is half your size or a foot shorter than whatever, I don't know, what are you doing? Because what are you going to do if you have a lucha that's a male, you know, because you can't wrestle a woman? Like, you know what I mean? There's like a lot of things. What if you have someone that's a little guy like Spike Dudley? I steal so much stuff from Spike Dudley because I'm little too. And I do hardcore, but it's like, what if you run into one of those guys? Are you going to say no to him? Like, you know, it depends on the individual too, because some female wrestlers can be very delicate, I guess, just depending on the style that they do. But for me, I never wanted to turn away from a match because of those things. So it's not necessarily people like specifically on my list per se. It's just kind of whatever comes to me as the opportunities arise and stuff. And, you know, I have gotten in the ring with several male deathmatch wrestlers. You mentioned Pondo, Reed Bentley's another. Or you didn't mention Pondo, you mentioned Louis, but yeah, also Madman Pondo, Reed Bentley. There's been quite a few. Yeah, I don't know. I can take a punch and I enjoy it. I like working with the big guys. So, you know, sometimes I prefer intergender matches. So.
Yes, I asked the question to Zeta Steele also, and she was like, it gets a little easier at the big man. Let them do the heavy lifting. And then, you know what I mean? I'm kind of in there just looking good. But that Louis match, right? The ending of that match was emotional, right? Like you two shared a moment in the ring together after that match. Mm-hmm. Was that more of a like, holy shit, I just wrestled Louis? Or is that more like that was just a killer match and like that I just killed it out there? Like what was that emotion after that match?
Yeah, there's several things I think that went into play with that. I mean, obviously the moment in and of itself, having gotten the win out of that match was a stepping stone in my journey as a wrestler. You know, that is a big deal. Low Life Louis is a legend in deathmatch. He's been doing this for 30 years. He's trained by Homicide. Like, he's, you know, he has all this history and legacy he's carried on his back for 3 decades. So I'm very much a wrestler that respects history and respects the people that paved the way for us coming up now. And I know, especially nowadays, not every wrestler is that way, but for me personally, it's like, how are you going to know where you're going if you don't know where you've been, right? Like, if you're going to step into wrestling, and especially if you're going to step into death match, you better learn your history. That's how I feel personally. Not everyone's that way, and I've run across people that are definitely not. But for me, it's very important to me. Another thing is, for me and Louis, he was really good friends with my partner that had passed away. So being able to come together like that, just the odds of like that coming together in general, like the fact that like I decided to be a wrestler, and then the fact that I was actually able to be a wrestler, because I'm sure there was plenty of people that are like, she's not going to be able to do it, which is why I didn't say anything publicly until it was like, okay, now I'm going to start working shows. Like, I'm at that point, you know, you just kind of got to focus in the beginning. You don't need a bunch of talk in your head. But yeah, it was just really emotional for that. You know, our that was definitely for him and his memory. And yeah, it was just very sentimental. You know, it's he was very protective over me, and definitely always tried to make sure, like when we were at shows and stuff, if he had to run around, like make sure I was always with someone that was very trustworthy and good and like all that. Because, you know, sometimes I would just get burnt out personally and just like need to have more of a quiet space, which can be hard to do at a show, right?
Yeah,
Especially at that show. So I don't know. I guess just the fact that so many of his friends have just tried to take care of me through this journey since, and help me learn and try to guide me in the right ways. And yeah, just can kind of, I feel like in some ways I've carried the torch for him, obviously starting wrestling, but you know, for watching out for me, they've kind of carried the torch for him. So yeah, it was definitely an emotional moment for both of us.
Yeah, I think that emotion, like even the fans there that day could feel it. It was a very cool moment to experience there for us, you know, to be able to experience that with you guys and be able to cheer you on. Even when Louis allowed you to stay in the ring at the rest and just kind of soak in that moment, you could tell that you were really soaking that in. So anyone that didn't see that match yet, it's going to be on IWTV. I think they said in the next couple of weeks. So definitely make sure you check that out, because that was one of the matches that I personally thought stole the show. The way you were able to integrate that table spot perfectly into the match. Like,
I wanted a table so bad. As soon as I pulled up to the ring truck, I was like, there better be a table in there. I don't want a table.
well, sometimes, you know, like especially like in deathmatch, you have these pre-planned spots and they're already set up, and it kind of like the fans can be like, okay, this is gonna happen here, it's gonna happen here. But the table spot to me felt like it kind of happened organically.
Well,
you know?
And they had a flaming tables match. So when I saw that there was a table just chilling and I was on the up, I was like, it's table time. I was like, this is gonna happen. Help me carry this thing.
The way you were able to integrate the half pipe and stuff to me was very cool.
I was so excited. I got my table. Yeah, I really wanted to jump off the half pipe too. So I got to do two things all at once. It was really fun.
That's dope. We're talking with Angel Metro here on the Steel Steps. Now, Angel, you mentioned about, you know, having 2 years of in-ring experience, and you know, I've learned that you have been training with WWE Hall of Famer Jimmy Valiant. What was that introduction like as far as you know, going into training?
So when I decided to start training, I looked around at schools. Virginia has a lot of history in wrestling. Unfortunately, the scene isn't necessarily the biggest or healthiest right now. A lot of the history is territory days history, you know, Mr. Valiant's era. But I had found a school in a city that was about an hour and a half, I think, from here. And so I went to go check them out. And I worked with them for the day, worked with, you know, one of their trainers. Everything seemed good. The guys were really cool. I was down. Like, I was really excited. You know, as soon as I took my first bump, I was like, oh my God, like, I'm really excited. Because you never know until you take your first bump, you know, when you got to do that. And then it's like, maybe you just get up and walk away. I've seen plenty of people do that where it's like, nope, I'm good. But yeah, so I trained with them for the day and I was stoked to come back. And the way that it worked is they had one of their trainers in for the day that was running it, but they have like the owner, and then they have like another guy that does like admin and stuff. So I'd been in communication with the guy that did admin, and so afterwards I had, wrote him and been like, yeah, when can I come back, blah blah blah, and they had told me to come back in a couple weeks, so I came back when they had said, and the place was completely shut down. Like they just totally ghosted me.
Whoa.
Yeah, I know, right? And I'm sitting in the parking lot, and I'm just like, what the fuck, like. Why would you tell me to come?
This is when you drove an hour and a half?
Like 2 hours actually. Because Boogie's is like 2.5. And I was just sitting there like, what the fuck? Like, this is so uncool. Like, you know what I mean? And so I actually found the trainer that I had trained with, because he seemed really cool. Like, he seemed really excited and was talking, like very positively. And so I found him on Facebook, and I explained like what happened. I was like, what's going on? Like, and he's like, I didn't even know you were told that. I don't know what's going on, but let me find out, and then I'm going to hit you back. And so he was doing that. And in the meantime, I was just looking up schools. I was like, I don't care if I have to drive to Baltimore. Like, I don't care if I have to drive here or there. Like, I don't care where I have to go. Like, I'm doing this. Like, nothing's going to stop me. Like, nothing's going to get in my way. I am doing this. And the trainer that I worked with, I knew that he was a graduate from Boogie's school. And so I was like, I wonder if like they're accepting new students, because sometimes they do it on a cycle, and I wasn't sure, and this was on a Saturday, and so I looked at the school. I was like, I wonder like if I can go there. And Boogie's runs school every Sunday, so it actually worked out perfectly. So the trainer called me back, and he let me know that due to the owner having some previous issues, I guess, with his wife, they aren't allowing women to train at the school. And that is why I got ghosted. And that is why all that happened, because I am a woman. And apparently the owner must just be like so irresistible that if a woman's around, it's going to be in trouble, apparently. Anyway, yeah. So that was the reality of that. And I was kind of in shock. I mean, obviously, since then, I've learned a lot about wrestling.
Yeah.
But I was like, are you kidding me? Like, what? Wow.
That's insane.
I drove to Boogie's, and I was like, well, now I don't know what to expect. Like, what if he tells me no too because I'm a woman? Like, that's not my fault. Like, I want to be a wrestler. Like, I can't help my gender. Like, I want to learn to wrestle. Anyways, I was so nervous when I pulled up to Boogie's. I just really wanted a home for wrestling. I just really wanted to start, and I was dealing with so much personally and emotionally with like grief and stuff. Like, I just wanted to start. And so Boogie's is like, when you walk in and the ring's right in front of you, and the wood floor, it has like a little step up as you go to like the counter to the office. And I was just telling this story with Boogie at dinner the other night. But so I walk in, and I'm so nervous, right? And I'm like trying to find him, and he's like, watch out for the step. And so I totally trip over the bus. So I like stumble over the little step.
And this is the first they've seen you, is you tripping over the
just
step?
kind of tripping through the door, which is very much on brand for me.
You know what?
Yeah,
that's probably the sign. They was like, yeah, she gonna make it. Watch.
Yeah, right. So I walked up to Mr. Valiant, and I told him, I was like, Mr. Valiant, my name's Angel. I'm not sure if you train women. I just went to another school, and they refused to train me because of that. But, if you'll consider having me as a student, like, I'm really excited. I'm really eager to learn. I have my money. Like, just basically, like, please give me a shot. And he just turned around, and he's like, oh, honey, we take in everyone. And that was it. And I became a student, and I became a Valiant. And it was just like the sweetest, because I like was so stressed, I guess, over something that I wasn't expecting. And he was just like, oh, don't worry about it. It's like, you're home now. And yeah, that meant a lot. And so I got in the ring that day and took some bumps and probably made a lot of bruises. I'm not sure. I remember I hurt a lot afterwards. So that first day of Boogie's ring is like internationally known for being the world's hardest ring.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's like, it's a 12 by 12. It's built into the ground. And it's a 30-year-old ring. So it's like, if you can bump at Boogie's, you can bump anywhere in the world. As a matter of fact, people would be like, "How did you like? Why did you take that bump on the floor?" I was like, "Trust me." I was like, "I'm used to it."
That bump that went viral
instead of in the ring at Boogie's.
Right.
That bump that went viral at the boxing ring, right? It's probably like that's nothing to you.
Yeah, honestly, like I didn't take a lot of bumps on it, but I could feel it in the middle. I was like, nah, I'm not doing that. But the like brief rolling bumps that I did take, it wasn't anything like for me. But I planned to like, I'm gonna roll more than I'm gonna bump.
Yeah.
Like I'm just, like whatever I can do to roll, I'm gonna do some more of that. Yeah, but it was actually really great for me though, because like I said, if you can bump at Boogie's, you can bump anywhere. So the first time I got into a ring that wasn't Boogie's and I bumped and it was like a pillow. It was like a marshmallow. It was like a I was like, I can do this all day. Like, what is this?
Right.
What? Yeah, so but it definitely conditioned me to, be able to take a hit and to bump in crazy ways, which so far has paid off pretty good for me. So
well, I think that's the common misconception, right? It's like that the rings are just these trampolines that feel nothing when you hit it. Like I don't think people realize like it's plywood with a tiny bit of padding, but for the most part, you're feeling that wood when you're bumping. Like I don't think people realize that. Like I
think from the fans' sake, I think we're kind of misguided, because like when we're watching it as kids, like we're told, oh, that's just a mat, like that's padding, this and that.
Yeah.
But as you get older and you hear the stories from pro wrestlers, then hearing how hard that padding is, like it ain't as much pad as we all think. And then when we actually see it, then it's like, holy shit. Like that's really under the ring.
It's pretty crazy. I mean, they say it's like taking a minor car crash every time you bump. I hear anywhere between 20 and 30 miles per hour. The craziest one for me is when I see like kind of surreal things. Like, I don't know, you guys probably saw it when it happened. It was a few years ago. It was during COVID. The one, he was a backyard wrestler and it was during his intro. He was up on the second turnbuckle and he like turned to jump off and landed and immediately broke both legs. Yeah. I was like, I don't know if he just like locked his knees and like leaned the wrong way, and they said, but it's just like, wah! Like, which is like why I felt so grateful for like having training. It's like, wow, when you see something like that, because you train like, you'll bump wrong and stuff like that, but generally speaking, you'll train to be able to do things correctly. So when you see something like that go wrong, it's just like, whoa, I didn't know that could happen to us. Like, wow.
Does it make you think? Do you think about that kind of spot, like when you're in the ring, right? Like, and you've seen that spot. Does that ever cross your mind when you're in the ring? Stuff like that? Yeah,
don't lock your knees. That definitely crosses my mind.
I was going to say that.
That's pretty much a good rule of thumb for life, though. Like,
right.
Don't lock your knees in any situation.
Don't do that.
If you don't break your knees or your legs, you'll pass out eventually. So just don't lock your knees.
Right. We're talking with pro wrestler Angel Metro here on the Still Steps. We also have our second guest joining us here this evening. He is digital creator and host of Wrestle Death Podcast. We have none other than Mr. Rich Maloney joining us here on the Still Steps. Brother Rich, how you doing this evening, sir?
Yo, what's going on? Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Oh, man. Yep. Sorry, Joe.
No, you're good. Appreciate you stopping by with us tonight. We've been having some good conversations with Angel about the beginning of our journey in the professional wrestling and stuff like that. Real quick, before we jump into a question with you, Rich, Angel, I do have a question though about like your training and stuff. So you're trained by a WWE legend, right?
Hall of Famer.
Yes. Sorry. Was there ever any initial pushback when you were like, I want to do deathmatch wrestling? Like, was there ever any like looking down or like pushback? Like, no, you're not doing that. Was there ever any of that kind of temptation, or was he like, go for it?
There was all the time from everyone except him. He has been supportive of me since the first day. He's like the first day. He's the only person that I let call me a diva because I'm one of his divas. Like he has, for example, my first stickers I got printed because I mean, look at me. I'm like an alternative creepy goth chick, right? it was a black and white sticker, and like my eyes were whited out, and my hair was kind of like mohawk to the side or whatever. It's really creepy looking, and they're always really excited when I have like new 8x10s or stickers or whatever. These are my first stickers. And so I gave one to Boogie, and he took it, and he's like, because they have like a glass cabinet at the front office where you check in and stuff. He's like, I'm going to put this right in here, and it's never going to move. Everyone's going to see. And it is right in front. Like, you'll see all the wrestling stuff, and then you'll see my creepy little face in there. No, he's always been supportive of anything I wanted to do. Yeah, he's just like the most positive person, and he's never made me feel like I don't belong in wrestling, and he's never made me feel like I wasn't able to do something. He's just like my biggest cheerleader.
Well, yeah, the only reason I asked that is because, like you had mentioned before, like how the deathmatch community is kind of a smaller community. You know, it's very niche community, right? Like it's a lot of the same fans across the country. You'll see them traveling for the deathmatch shows. It's kind of they're all the same fans. And I know some of the fans that are not in that deathmatch bubble sometimes look down at deathmatch, right? They don't always think of deathmatch in the same light. They're just hitting each other with tubes and stuff, which we know is not the case because we respect the art of deathmatch. But that's why I asked that question. So it's really cool to hear that a Hall of Famer in WWE respects
Yeah, actually, hold on. I'll be right back.
Oh, good. Take your time. While she's away, Rich, you know, we greatly appreciate you joining us here on Still Steps. One of the things we like to do here on Still Steps is when we have a first time guest with us, you know, just, you know, kind of get an idea when the first time they were exposed to pro wrestling. So, Rich, for you, when was that first time you was exposed to professional wrestling?
All right, I'm old as fuck. I don't look old, but I am. I was 5 years old, and I was just flipping through the channels. And I grew up in New York, so we had WWF Superstars at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, Channel 5.
You my age already. Sorry.
Yeah, and I was just like, what is this? You know what I mean? And I remembered, I was like, okay. I looked at the clock. I'm like, okay, so this time next Saturday, I'm going to be home, and I'm going to make sure that I watch it. And I did. And then it just kind of like went from there. My mom took me to some mom and pop video rental, and they had the whole wall. And I look at WrestleMania 6 with Hogan and Warrior. And I was like, to me, it was like real life superheroes. I was never really into Batman or Superman or anything, but I saw that it went from Ghostbusters, Ninja Turtles to wrestling, uphill and downhill ever since.
Nice.
That's what it's been, man. Yeah. So like 35 years.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Andrew, did you get what you was about to go grab?
Actually I did. So talking about Boogie is a WWF Hall of Famer, but being a part of the Valiant Brothers, like they were known for having color and for doing a lot of the territory guys, you know, they set the groundwork for hardcore matches. If you watch a lot of their stuff back in the day, I mean, they're throwing people into gumball machines and you know, they're doing all this crazy stuff. And so, you know, Mr. Valiant is not a stranger to color and to hardcore matches and all of that stuff. So yeah, I feel like a lot of people that are WWF, WWE Hall of Famers, you'll find a spot with them where they've done some kind of hardcore, some kind of color, some kind of something.
Oh yeah. 100% agree. And you know what? That kind of leads me to my next question. Do you think as wrestling evolves, like, and then you look at the climate of the world, like, you think it becomes a little bit more PC, than like more people are becoming against like a lot of like the hardcore antics of pro wrestling? Like I feel like there's a level where, like, you know, people, like, while they say they enjoy it, but then down there they're trying to make a case like, oh, it's too violent.
Oh, you mean like the guy who emailed Max because Moxie took the bat shot?
Yes.
And was like questioning why you're allowing that on the show and stuff.
Like, it's ridiculous.
Is that they allowed it on the show, which is huge. You know, you don't get to, historically speaking, especially since like AEW is WWE's biggest competitor, you didn't see a lot of spots like that over like the overall history of wrestling on television. I mean, obviously there's some crazy stuff in like ECW and like the Attitude Era and stuff like that, but the fact that WWE is very much like a PG show overall, very much sanitized compared to what it was when I was growing up.
Right.
To be able to see deathmatch on primetime like that, to be able to see someone that looks like me, you know, like Tony Storm the week before do Taipei deathmatch and like just be like covered in like, you know, just a full mask, like that's incredible. You know, I think it's awesome. I really appreciate the people that they are allowing to do these spots and these matches, because a lot of the issue in wrestling is, you know, someone will do a death match or do a hardcore spot or get color or whatever to like get themselves over more or whatever, you know, but they don't really care. They don't really care about hardcore. They don't really care about deathmatch. You know, most of the time they look down on it. It's like they don't really care about these things, even though, generally speaking, your biggest pop is going to come from a hardcore or deathmatch, you know, spot, move, stunt, whatever. And, you know, especially seeing someone like Mox, who has a huge, long history in hardcore and deathmatch, you know, seeing him be able to represent, like, yeah, it's just really dope. It's great. I think it's awesome.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if it's a shifting of times. I think wrestling has always been a reflection of the times. Wrestling is very much it's kind of got a schism right now, but so does our society. So we have a very sanitized and we have a very kind of rebelling, hardcore, like wilding outside. So yeah, it's really interesting. But I mean, I'm always happy to see hardcore and deathmatch, so I like it. I'm glad it's on the air. I'm glad people can see it. I'm glad that they're, you know, it's like, when do you show kids stuff? You know, it's too young, it's too this, it's too that, blah, blah, blah. But the facts are, there are kids out there that was like me when I was a kid. And that exposure to Hell in the Cell, that exposure to wrestlers like China, shaped who I was as a person, because those are such formative years as a child. And the fact that they're able to have that same opportunity to see things that they would never see in any other situation except wrestling like that. Yeah, I just think it's really cool.
Listen, I think I'm case in point to that comment. I'm in my son's room. If you look behind me, he has a Scissor Me Daddy poster on his wall. So that just says, like, my son is the same boat as you. I mean, I took him to 7 this past weekend, which was an absolute insane show that Rich can speak to. But yeah, I mean, I say deathmatch all the way. You know, kids are gonna. Here's my point: kids are gonna find this shit on YouTube or Facebook by themselves. I feel as a parent, I'm more comfortable with introducing it myself and explaining what's going on, so they don't see it and then one day try to hit his head with a light tube with his sister because he found it himself, you know? Like,
don't do that anyway.
But if I can introduce him to it and explain what's going on. Get the pizza cutter
out of the kitchen. Goes after your sister.
I'll never forget the one GCW show we went to. My son had a full meltdown because before the show, Gage promised him the pizza cutter. Oof. Gage used the pizza cutter and threw it in the fans, and my son lost his mind that he didn't get the bloody pizza cutter. I'm like, are you insane? So you just use that to cut someone's head open.
No, it's a whole world. You know, wrestlers are superheroes to kids. We really are. And I've seen it firsthand, you know, and so stuff like that, like I was saying, it's so impactful. Like, it means so much to them. And it's especially with deathmatch and hardcore wrestlers, like, as a parent, if your kid has interest in that, I think you're really lucky, because when they meet their favorite deathmatch wrestler, or like, you know, someone they really like, they've got a friend for life now. Like, deathmatch wrestlers deathmatch is for the children. Like, they're so, like, generally speaking, so good with the kids, and they'll always have that little buddy they'll have a, you know, get the high five with or whatever. Even the like super bad guys, right? Like, it's really cool. Like, I love watching that go down, like seeing kids be able to meet their favorite deathmatch wrestler, and, you know, they're all torn up and whatever, and this kid is like beyond excited. Like, I love seeing that stuff. Yeah.
The only person my son's ever been afraid to interact with was actually this past Saturday. Masada, for some reason, he knows that Gage
What
and
are you talking about, dude?
he knew
You
that
took your
Gage
chin
and
to
Masada
Masada. No, I'm
got
just kidding. I'm
beef.
just kidding.
He knew they had a little bit of beef, so he was like,
That's
I don't
funny.
say hi to him. I'm wearing Nick Gage shirt. I
Oh,
don't
well,
know.
yeah,
I was
see,
like,
that's probably why. You can't rep the wrong person. He was smart. He
Mhm.
knew what he was doing. He was, I can't get too
Yeah.
close to him. That's hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, and hopefully I can bring him out to Wicked. But Rich, to you real fast. So you said, WrestleMania 6, they're superheroes, right? WrestleMania 6, you do run Wrestle Death now. You have, last I checked, it was like a 201,000 followers on Instagram, right? Like you go all over the country for deathmatch wrestling. How the hell did you get from Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, to now traveling the country and seeing deathmatch wrestling? Where did that love of deathmatch come from?
I knew what deathmatch wrestling was. I found ECW in like '96. So for me, like in New York, whatever, like it was on at 1:00 in the morning on Saturdays, right, on MSG. So if the Yankees, the Knicks, or the Rangers, if they were on the West Coast, you were missing it because the time change and all that, it wasn't happening. So I'm walking through the mall one day, and they had the R Video kiosk. And they had all this IWA, they had FMW, me and a buddy of mine, we had no idea what shoot interviews were. And I was just like, all right, so I picked up a few tapes, he picked up a few tapes, and it just kind of like went on from there. And then basically the premise of what I wanted to do was, I was like, listen, I have like all this content on my phone, and I was like, I'll just put it up. I'm going to use it. And I wanted to come up with something that nobody really did. And I was like, I'm going to bring in like the mainstream fans and show them that there's like a whole other side of wrestling that maybe they're ignorant to, or they just don't know, they've never seen it before. And then all the people that love indie wrestling and deathmatch wrestling, I'm going to keep them up to steam on what's going on in the mainstream. So I kind of hit it from both ways, and I don't know, and big ups to Super Villain Deathmatch, because he hit me up. I had less than 1,000, right? And he hit me up. He goes, yo, I love your stuff. And I downloaded everything that you have, and I'm going to put it all up if it's okay with you. I was like, nice. All right, cool. And kind of just, and it went from there. And I've been asked, a lot, to go here and go there. And, do you want to collab on this? And it's just not really, a lot of it is just not for me. I'm very picky about who I work with and want to work with. But listen, man, like I love what I'm doing with Justin. We bring in Angel, we bring in Bam and Tarzan, and we bring in these guys from over here and this guys from over here, and it's just kind of, it just fits the criteria.
No,
yeah.
It just fits the criteria, because New Jersey is flooded with wrestling.
Yes, I think
flooded.
Since Saturday, there's been 3 new promotions.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah, just three. So I know Hawk's introduction to deathmatch was ECW. Mine is actually a funny story. One day my grandma calls me, right, and she goes, "Do you know your cousin is a wrestler, right?" I've never met the dude a day in my life. Don't know him, nothing, right? I was like, "Who is that? Look him up." She goes, his name is Matt Tremont. So I looked him up.
I love that.
I looked him up.
Oh my god!
And I found him, and I was like, "This dude's a badass dude." And this was like when he first started in CZW. But we're not like, it's not like we're like close, like we go to families' houses and stuff. But I got to meet him. Like my grandma got to meet him for the first time, because his dad and my grandma are brother and sister, but they were different parents, so they kind of separated when they were younger. So she got to meet her nephew through wrestling and stuff. So to me, that was my introduction to wrestling, was finding Matt and then finding CZW, and I was like, holy shit, this is insane. But that was to me, and now I got in with Justin and X-Brand, I'm like, this is a whole new world for me, and I absolutely love it.
Man, just hearing this entire conversation of like the introduction of hardcore wrestling, like hearing Angel talk about the Hell in a Cell, Rich with ECW on MSG, and I remember that time, because here in Philly it was on Sports Channel. So it was almost like a hit or miss at times when it will be on. But when I caught it for the first time, it was like around 6 p.m. or like on a Thursday night. I said, note to self, make sure you turn to the sports channel at 6 o'clock every Thursday night, and was hooked ever since. And kind of speaking of what Joey was saying as far as like introducing his son to the deathmatch wrestling community, I actually introduced my father to ECW. So he was a little skeptical as far as like allowing me to go to the event. And then we finally got the chance to actually go to the event. And the very first ECW event I attended happened to be Born to be Wired, with Sabu going up against Terry Funk for the ECW title. Like, oh my God. Like, my dad was like, I'm a believer. It's like, I'm a believer. So he started going ever since, you know what I mean, when they were around. So, but great
kind of the
time.
magic of like hardcore and death match. Because you'll get a lot of like stories, like the same stories of like, how'd you get into wrestling? How'd you become a wrestling fan? But with deathmatch, it's like, how did you become a weirdo? Like, how'd you become a freak like me? Like, how'd you get into this crazy stuff? You know what I mean? And so there's always like cool stories to hear, like how people get into it, because it's not something. I mean, like I said, nowadays it's more accessible than it's ever been. But before that, I think all of us started watching before the internet was like a thing.
Hell
so
yeah.
it's like, were you a tape trader? Did you have an older brother? Like, I love hearing these stories. It's special.
Listen, when we got so connected to ECW, like we used to have our own pocket TVs, and me and my buddies used to sit on the curb during the summertime to watch ECW on a pocket TV.
I love that.
Like it was like that like that's how so obsessed we were when we found it, and like just never looked back at any ever since. Like,
but and Angel, I can attest to that about the community that you were saying, because like, listen, I don't know about everyone else, but growing up, I was a little bit of a strange dude. You know what I mean? I never felt more like connected to people. I got deathmatch shows. It's like, these are our peeps. I mean, like, you just know, like, these are our peoples. Mm-hmm. But you can definitely feel that at the show. But let me ask you a question about like future Angel. Is there anyone on it, like, if you had a list, right, of like names you want to face, who's at the top of that list that Angel wants to face before it's all said and done?
Well, I was working towards Homicide, but then he had to retire, so that's
damn.
literally like 3 days later. So I was like, actually, that's okay. I love Homicide. A list. I have a list of things that I want to do, but a list of specific wrestlers.
You don't have to have a whole list. Just like one name that you're like, I have to make sure I fight them.
Oh man, I'd have to think about it for a second, because. Yeah.
I know Richard's over there like getting ready to write it down so we can.
Give me a sec. Come back to me on that. Let me think on it.
Well, you face Louis.
It takes a second for my brain to get churning.
Yeah, we did right before you jumped on, Rich. We did touch on that match, and the emotion at the end of that match and stuff, the emotion that everyone felt there. Let me ask you, Rich, if you're helping Angel pick this, right? Is there one person that you would love to see Angel? Doesn't matter promotion, doesn't matter. They have to be active, but there's no boundaries in promotion. It can be anybody.
There's someone in mind. You know what? How about this? For starters, Mickey.
Yeah, that's been supposed to happen too, and it's like ships in the night. Her and Murdoch. I was scheduled twice to fight Murdoch. The first time he couldn't do it. The second time I couldn't do it. I had COVID, so I think that something like that happened with Mickey too. I was sick. Yeah, that'll definitely be like burning the barn down type vibe with Mickey, because obviously, I mean, as far as deathmatch goes, she's one of the goats, and she doesn't quit. And I'm just getting my feet wet. I'm just getting my foot in the door, but I'm kind of in that same line of mentality, so it would definitely be a hard-hitting, crazy match. She might kill me. Who knows?
Shout out to Mickey though, because I feel like
she's
I don't
great.
know why, but she's like one of those wrestlers who does not get her flowers enough. Like she's
she had a really great year last year. She crushed it. She crushed it on the tournament scene. She crushed it just in general. She's doing great this year as well. Yeah, I don't know.
Excellent match on Sunday.
She's one of the innovators. There's a handful of women, and I know she hates to single it out by gender, but it's true because it's harder to do what they did, with IWA, CZW, all that stuff as a woman. Like that they had to claw through that to make that path for people like me to pull up later. You know what I mean? Or for people like Toni Storm to be able to do that on national TV as a woman. You don't understand. Like when you get color as a wrestler, it's one thing, but when you get color as a female wrestler, it's a whole different story. You know what I mean? Like a guy can go to freaking Applebee's afterwards, bloody, and like he'd be all right. I go to Applebee's with a bunch of guys all bloody, they're calling the cops. You know what I mean? Oh yeah. So to have people like Nikki, Lufisto, all of those types of women that came in and were like, no, motherfucker, we're not just gonna go as hard as you, we're gonna go harder. And if you want to beat us, kill us, because that's where we're gonna stop. And I just, how can you not appreciate that? Like I was saying earlier, I try to make a point of learning my history, and when I'm around vets and stuff, especially, I love just hearing them talk and getting knowledge and bits of advice from them. But yeah, hopefully that'll change for her. Again, she had a great year last year. She's having a great year this year, and she's all over. She's been doing a lot with JCW too, and yeah, hopefully she gets some more of those flowers. She definitely deserves them for sure.
Yeah, she had. I don't know if you saw it, but on Sunday. It was her and Too Tough Tony versus the Rejects. They tore the house down. They went hard. So if you get a chance to watch that,
I'm sure. I wrestled Reed. That motherfucker can hit.
Yeah. I mean, at one point,
back. There was at one point, man, during my match with him, he just like screamed at me. He's like, "Hit me, bitch!" I was like, "God damn, Reed, like, shit."
At one point,
it was good because it took me to that level, and that's necessary. Yeah. Like again, all of Marcus's friends, like they see what I want to do. They understood that I was interested in hardcore and deathmatch and stuff like that. And in order to do that, you have to be at a certain level. You have to be able to prepare, and you have to be able to be that hit me bitch person. You know what I mean? And step up. So yeah, shout out to Reed. He's dope.
Yeah, I mean, at one point in that match, yeah,
all the rejects.
Yeah, they're both dope for sure.
Oh yeah.
But
go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, at one point in the match, if you get a chance to watch, they did a spot where they had a pane of glass set up, and they held her hands back so she didn't have a chance to protect herself. Face right into the glass, face first, and it was.
I'm sure
it was an intense moment.
She's like the best, dude. She'll take anything, which is something that I, try to make a point of too. I mean, obviously, I have to work within my skill set. Being a new wrestler, she has way more experience than I do. But as a female wrestler, especially hardcore and deathmatch, but as a female wrestler in general, I personally feel you got to step up and take some of those hits, man. Like you're a wrestler. At the end of the day, you're a wrestler. If you wanted to be a beauty pageant contestant, go do that. We are out of the days of the bra and panty matches. We are out of the days of those contests. Like you're a fucking wrestler, so go wrestle, go take the hits, and maybe don't take a pane of glass, to the face. I'll do it. Like I wouldn't mind doing that, but like it's not for everybody, But get in there and lay it in and take a hit. Like learn how to take a hit, man.
Listen, talk your shit. Talk your shit.
I don't care.
I'm sitting here, trying to remain in my host mode, but I'm listening to you, talking, and I hear it. Like I hear the adrenaline in you. I'm like, talk your shit.
Listen, women wrestling, especially women's wrestling, right?
Wrestling is real to me.
Yeah.
Wrestling is real to me. You saw it in the ring with Louis. I have this scar on my nose from Pondo. Like wrestling is real. And so many people forget that. They think it's just pomp and circumstance in this show. And it's like, no, not at all. And I think that's another reason why hardcore and deathmatch has that special feeling to it, because there's no other style of wrestling really that can evoke that suspension of disbelief and awe and just like this is real. You know, when someone gets hit with a thumbtack back, when they get ran through a pain, like Mickey's eye or eyebrow, whatever she had cut open, you know, they get hit with tubes. When you see that impact, when you can feel it in your feet, when they land, you know, through something, and then they start bleeding in front of you, you know that's real. You can see the blood coming out of their face right in front of you. It's real, you know? And yeah, I think that's just part of that magic that deathmatch and hardcore has, is like, you can fucking, not only can you like be like, wow, that looked like it hurt, you can fucking see it. You can see the blood, you can see the bruises, you can see the cuts. Sometimes you can see a lot more than you want to, and then that's when they get shipped off to the hospital. Yeah, it's like, all right, time to go. The duct tape's not working. Like, we go get the shot.
That's some of the wildest shit I've ever seen, when they just grab duct tape and close that shit up and keep going. Like,
and so that's what I'm saying is like, you know, that's sometimes that's what happens. I mean, there's that, was it in CZW with Lufisto when she had that piece of tube, I think it was glass, like in her back, like in the skin, like along the skin like that, and she was like fiddling with it, trying to take it out during the match, and she's sitting down there, and it's like, look, wrestling is very dangerous. We talked about the dude that snapped both of his legs jumping off that second turnbuckle. You know, like, it is dangerous. Deathmatch wrestling, hardcore wrestling is dangerous. So you've got to be willing to maybe do a little bit of crazy shit you might not necessarily, you know, you have to be okay with that. You have to be okay with pulling out the glass. You have to be okay with, like, might have to duct tape your arm up, you know, and finish this match. You might have to get your nose almost cut off by Pondo's sign and finish the match. Like, you know, that's a part of it. And not a
listen,
lot of
that might be a line drawer for me. Get my nose
that's
almost.
What, see, not a lot of people understand it, but I don't know. It takes a special kind of person, or I don't know if special is the right word, but it takes a certain kind of person. And you know them when you know them, and yeah, it's definitely not for everyone though. And I don't blame people. I mean, like Pondo says about me, like, we're all batshit crazy to do stuff that we do. You know, I've done stuff where Pondo's like, you're crazy, and I'm like, wow, that's really cool that Pondo calls me batshit crazy.
That's a compliment, right, coming from
like,
Pondo.
I love that. I'm gonna work even harder now. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. But the cool thing about that is, because for whatever reason, we're able to do these things that most people, you know, most wrestlers, but especially most people wouldn't do or wouldn't want to do. We're kind of doing like a feat, you know, and that adds even more to what we're doing in the entertainment value. It's like, I would never, like, even just, you know, jumping off a half pipe onto a table. There's plenty of people in the crowd that would never want to do that. You know, and it's like, yeah, there you go, you know? And so doing that is, I get to give that entertainment. And like, what is that like? What does that look like? How bad does it hurt? Yes, it hurts. You know, you get to experience this live. I don't know. It just adds a special touch to it. I love hardcore deathmatch. I'll talk about it for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
I got you.
I mean, there is a big, like, misconception. Like, there's a lot of people out there who think that they can just do a death match. And it's as simple as that.
David Arquette.
Oh.
Okay. I have made my David
I mean, he was kind of trained
However,
as a wrestler.
Huh?
But, I mean, he was kind of trained as a wrestler, right? David Arquette?
But isn't
I
there,
thought he did well. I mean,
but isn't there a difference between deathmatch
he, like,
and...
put the effort forward. He just got scared.
Yeah.
You know? And
do you blame him going against Gage?
he's
a madman, right? Like,
I do blame him going against Gage for the fact that he got scared during the match. Because if anyone is gonna know if you're gonna live or die, it's gonna be Gage. So if Gage isn't freaking out, you'll be fine. Like, I would trust him, especially with tubes. Like, you can't be in there with someone better who would be more knowledgeable. Gage knows tubes. You know what I mean? So if he's not freaking out, then don't ruin the show, man. But I do call it that every once in a while. Like, when I see that, like, kind of freak out happen, I'm like, they're David Arquette in the match. Like, don't do that. Like, don't do it. Go hard, go home. Like, yeah.
That was one of the wilder spots I remember. Like, just the way he flipped, you're like, oh shit.
Yeah, it's about
And
that time.
you knew right away people were gonna flock to it, like, oh, this is why deathmatch is a problem, right? You know, all the major news companies pick it up and stuff. And
Oh, of course. That's what
such
I was saying.
bullshit.
Like with the PC, like soon as
People just like to
one
shit
little
on
thing
things.
happens, then it's like,
Yeah.
oh man, everything hits the fan. Like
People just like to
literally.
shit on things. That's just all it is.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
have to
Oh, yeah.
find something. Tons of people in the entertainment business shit on wrestling and comedians, and it's just like, so then those people find something else. It's like, I don't care, dude. I do what makes me happy. That shit makes me happy.
Yep.
Fact.
And I don't really care what anyone thinks about it because they're probably a lot more miserable at their shows than I am at mine. So,
Yes.
But we're talking with pro wrestler Angel Metro and Wrestle Death Podcast, Rich Maloney here on the Still Steps. Let's talk about Wicked 13. X Brand Wrestling's Ultraviolet House Party event going down Saturday, June 28th at the Shelter over in Howell, New Jersey. Doors open at 2 p.m. Bell time 3 p.m. Rich, I know Wrestle Death Podcast along with Turnbuckle Times. Shout out to Turnbuckle Times. Tell us about this event as well as the tournament that's going down June 28th.
Yeah, so all right, Wicked 13 Deathmatch Tournament. We got 13 participants. We have Nick Gage and Christian Ross already announced. And the next participant will be Angel Metro.
Hey!
Here we
There's
go.
the graphic.
Yes,
boy.
Saturday, June 28th at the Shelter in Howell. You can DM pretty much any one of us for the address. We won't just put their address out on Front Street for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
And we're really.
If you didn't think I was crazy during this interview up until this point, you can call me crazy, guys. No, I'm really excited. It's awesome. Have Christian Ross announce who's a powerhouse in and of his own right. Have Gage announce who's a legend, and then have little old blonde me after that. I love that. I love that. What an honor. Super cool.
Yeah.
Listen, you're hardcore, you're badass, you don't give a like you're doing everything right in the world of wrestling. So congratulations. Having an entry into this event. Definitely I know Joey's been talking about this event for some time about how big this tournament will be, and the way this lineup is shaping up, I think I might be going to Howell, New Jersey, June 28th. For sure.
Well, listen, I know Rich and I know me already have our antennas up when you mentioned some names here. We're like, let's make this shit happen. So we'll see what's gonna come, but everyone keep their eye out for future announcements. But yeah, it's gonna be a sick tournament. Like Rich said, reach out to X Brand, get the information, get the tickets, because it's gonna be a wild event. And at the Shelter, ample room to do some wild shit. And we're planning on doing some wild shit, so get ready for it.
Yeah, the Shelter's a fun place, man. Yeah.
I haven't been there yet.
It's hard to explain for anyone who hasn't been there, but it's like, deathmatch tournament there, the opportunities are endless of what someone can do there,
Oh yeah. I know it's nothing compared to H2O, but every time I left H2O, I had glass under my boots, so I'm pretty sure I'll probably have glass and then some. You know what I mean? Leaving out of the Shelter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's a fun rite of passage. My brother's a photographer, and he'll come to a lot of the shows, and afterwards he'll get like a little smile on his face for like a gas station or eating or whatever. He'd be like, "Oh, got some thumbtacks in my boots." Yep. You know what I mean? It's fun for people. I love it. Yeah. They get spooky dust like during a light tube or something. Like it's just like a rite of passage for the fans.
Oh yeah.
It's very interactive.
Shout out to Wrestle Death sponsoring Angel in the Wicked 13 Ultraviolet tournament. Again, going down Saturday, June 28th at the Shelter in Howell, New Jersey. Doors open at 2 p.m. Bell time 3 p.m. DM for additional information regards to the address. Definitely going to be a extreme, no pun intended, show going down that Saturday. So praying for some good weather that day.
Yes.
We definitely want the good weather because
Yes. That's the only battle right now, right? Is the weather, but we'll pray and make sure that we get some good weather.
I'm sure we'll be okay.
We'll rent some tents if we have to.
right.
This is happening.
Definitely. So Rich, Angel, we greatly appreciate y'all joining us here on Still Steps. As always, you enter as a guest, you leave out, as family to us. So if ever you need a platform to come on, talk your shit. I know, Rich, I know you have your own platform as well. So, if ever, you want to, do the collaboration, let us know, we go, may gladly come on board, talk that turnbuckle talk over there. Angel, you need to, call out any wrestlers here, talk that shit again. Yeah, feel free to pull up.
No,
Look,
yeah. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, for sure. The floor is yours. So, before we kick out of here, Angel, for those that are tuned in, where can they find you on social media?
Yeah, I'm on all the regular channels. Angel Metro, spelled exactly the way that it sounds. Yeah, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, wherever. It's pretty easy to find me. My name is not very common, so it's pretty easy. And you can find me this weekend, this Sunday. I am wrestling for Smashmaster Wrestling, and I believe that's out of Scranton, Pennsylvania for the show. So, it'll be me and my tag partner, our tag team, the Riot Act. So we have a tag match. And just hit me up on my socials. You can see my upcoming shows. I'm around the East Coast and the South, Midwest. Nice.
Shout out to Smash too. Go folks over there. Rich, Wrestle Death Podcast. Tell our fans about it. Where they can find it.
Yeah, Wrestle Death Podcast on YouTube. I'm having some issues with YouTube. I actually got a letter in the mail from Google. So
damn.
Yeah, I'm having some issues with them. Wrestle Death _ on Instagram. And I'll be in Detroit and Chicago this weekend to do a little networking, but to also be a fan as well. Because I said it to Justin at the very beginning, I don't want to ever forget what it's like to be a fan.
Yes,
I can't do it. So
even as a wrestler, you should never forget what it's like to be a fan. I've seen a lot of wrestlers come into that, and it's like a lot of wrestlers don't even like wrestling. It's just like, man, get out. Like
before we end this interview,
don't kill my vibe. Like
before we end this interview, I want to ask one question, and it's a short, open-ended question. Not even really open-ended, but just the battle of take the picture, ask for the picture, or don't if you're a wrestler working with someone. That was a battle on Twitter before. Like if you're a talent,
picture, absolutely. Life's too short, dude. You know how many people I've known that have died in wrestling? Like, no, take the fucking picture. Because you know what? That's all you're going to have. One day, that's all you're going to have, or that's all they're going to have. And it's going to mean so much. I don't give a crap about that. Like, dude, I'm neurodivergent as hell. I don't give a fuck about those, like, social, like, blah, blah. No, just take the fucking picture. It's not a big deal. Get over yourselves. Like,
I like that.
If you care about these people, if you're fans of these people, like, and, you're being respectful, like, just take the picture, man. Because it's going to be a lifelong memory, and we don't have people forever. So,
yeah.
Mm. That's
I like that answer.
Take the picture.
Okay, Rich is also take the picture. Yeah. Okay, I appreciate that answer. I like that answer.
Actually, hold on, Angel, for you.
Yeah.
Sheets or Wawa?
Oh, dude, you make me put on my other hat.
Listen. I saw your
hat
post.
on. I see what he's doing.
I saw your post and
Sheets forever, dude. You kidding?
I'm
I'll square up with you right now. Let's go.
I'm from Philly and I say Sheets.
Yeah, well, you have a Sheets in the Philly area, right? It's just Jersey that's like.
It's not. It's coming
Wawa
soon.
country up in Jersey.
Yeah, it's Wawa country in Philly too. There's an agreement between Wawa and Sheets where Wawa is, Sheets can't be built, and it's supposed to be vice versa. But Wawa breached that right.
Yeah, they do.
So now
that.
Sheets is saying "F you," and they're gonna start building some Sheets in PA, Philly area. So
I'm all about that gang war. Let's go.
Maybe there's something like that I don't know about Sheets. I've been to Sheets a couple times, and I'm just like, what's the big deal here? I wasn't impressed.
That's how I feel about Wawa.
Yeah, that's how I feel about Wawa too.
Wow.
I don't know. It must just be like a Pepsi Coke thing, but I don't know. Sheets is my vibe. And
Sheets has more options. They have better options.
See, I haven't had
for what I eat because I'm not a big like necessarily sandwich person, which I feel like that's the Wawa thing.
Yeah.
You can't beat the app sampler.
No.
Can't beat the app sampler.
Personally, I feel like Wawa hoagies are overrated. Like,
their lunch meat is terrible.
Maybe about 2 decades ago, like the sandwiches were on point. It seemed like now that they're more out there and they're various states. I feel like they're too commercialized to where now it's like it don't have that authentic taste like it used to have in a like 20 years ago.
Gotcha.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So,
but we could have this debate.
Yeah, I gotta experience sheets first. I
you never had sheets?
Oh,
I had sheets. I had sheets as a teenager. As not even a teenager. I might have been like 11, 12. So it wasn't really. It really wasn't a big deal for me. So
it's a big deal to me. Go to a sheet.
Yes.
All right.
You gotta join the dark side, man. We're way better than Wawa lovers.
All right. So how about this? Can we
I'll
all agree that
Buc-ee's? I'll roll with some Buc-ee's.
I've never had Buc-ee's.
I'm down with you. I'm down with the
been to
Buc-ee's. I just don't like Wawa. No Wawa.
See, I would go Royal Farms, but they've been slacking on their chicken
I
lately.
like Royal Farms.
I like them, but they can be a hit or miss.
Nowhere, like the morning after a show, and I need coffee. I need my caffeine fix. Royal Farms is like perfect for that. Like that's where I get my morning hookup. It's not as good as Sheets, but I don't mind.
So it sounds like your sheets above all, no matter what it is. Your sheets.
Sheets over everything.
I'll die on that hill. I literally have a Sheets hat. I don't know where it's at right now, but I wasn't expecting to get into a fight, Rich.
Rich knew exactly what he was doing.
Until the next show. It's gonna be so on, man. I wish that they would franchise where we could have a wrestling match. Like I want a wrestling show at a Sheets, like in the parking lot. Because they do that so much at like the restaurants in the South. Me and Gregory Iron were talking about this one.
You just gave Rich an idea.
In a Sheets parking lot, so fucking bad.
Time out. Wait, were you the last time, Angel? Last time we had you on the live stream, we watched that one match at a Golden Corral.
With the
okay.
What?
From the sky. Yes, that's what I'm saying, man. Like I wish they could do it.
That's awesome.
I don't know.
That's insane.
But man, I would love it.
Listen, I think that could happen because Sheets is predominantly like upper PA. And wild shit happens in Upper PA. I think we can make that happen.
Well, if you guys or anyone watching this happens to come across the hookup to make that possible, do it. I want a whole fucking show where it's Wawa wrestlers, and Sheets wrestlers, and we do get out, man. We could get a belt made. It would be so sick. I could
guarantee you.
Superior, and it's gonna.
We need Jim Anderson to make you some kind of graphic for Wawa versus Sheets with you and whoever you're fighting first round in the tournament, and your Sheets and the person you're fighing is Wawa.
Yeah, let's go. That's what I want.
I can guarantee you.
I want to end this fight, man. This is a long-term debate in wrestling, and I want to be the person to squash it. Sheets is superior, and I want the match. I want the show to prove it.
Listen, I guarantee you, Angel, you wrestle in Philly with a Sheets hat on, you getting booed. I guarantee you. They're gonna be like, what?
Yeah, Wawa's like a weird religion. I don't know. I
literally posted that yesterday. I posted a photo. I said Jersey because there's all Wawa there, but I posted it with my hat. I was like, I'm gonna pull up in Jersey and start a gang war because I haven't seen that. I was like, okay. But you're gonna get scared once you're in the wrong neighborhood. Come on, you gotta stand on your gang.
Oh man,
yeah, stand on your business.
So we already got two topics to table for the next time y'all both come on Still Steps. One, the
and me and Rich are still friends by then. We'll see what happens.
Hopefully.
Wait, hold on. We didn't get Rich's answer. Rich, are you Wawa or Sheets?
He's a Wawa. He already posted on my post yesterday. I remember you said Wawa. You and Danny DeMonto, who I'm a wrestle because of that, by the way.
Kick him in the dick, please.
What kind of name is Wawa? Wawa.
I don't know what that.
Listen, I agree with you. I agree with you as far as it's a stupid name. It is. But
What is that name? Now that you say it, like I've
It's
never
like
questioned that
someone's
name.
It's like what babies say. It's baby talk. So I'm like, I don't know where you're getting this from. Like when babies try to say water, they say Wawa. But that's the only thing I can think of. I don't know if it's someone's name or if it's like an acronym.
Is she like 24/7?
No, why? It's because
Wawa is a convenience store chain name originates from the unincorporated community of Wawa, Pennsylvania.
Wawa, Pennsylvania? Where's that at? That's cool.
I have no idea.
That's the name of a
There's
town?
a land of Wawa?
Yeah.
There's a promised land of Wawa.
Yeah.
If you're a real fan, you got to go there, Rich, and take pictures. I want to see what it looks like.
Wawa, Pennsylvania is 37 miles from Philadelphia.
Oh, so skip
Okay,
that.
that's close.
Well, wait. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Not skip that. Sorry.
Yeah, it's not far from here. So I never knew that. So you learn something new every day.
Yeah,
Middletown.
Middletown.
in Wildwood?
The 80s Wawa?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the only one that actually still looks like that.
The doo-wop.
Yeah. That's a special one. That's a good one.
Their food's better too for some reason there.
Andrew, you got to cut a promo on Wawa, PA.
I will.
Wawa.
Yeah,
we gotta have a show.
Wawa, PA. Let's go. Look me. I'll bring a gang.
Yeah.
I probably bring like 3 or 4 guys with me. We'll do it. I'll wrestle. Make it happen. Pull up. Put a ring up.
Oh my God. Okay.
Call controversy, Rich. Have controversy bring his ring out.
That won't be possible because he's facing Schlack soon.
I know. He's gonna die soon is basically what's happening there.
Listen,
that's what I'm saying.
I love Jimmy. He's a great dude. But is this gonna be similar to Schlack Dilf?
No, Jimmy's actually trained and he's been crushing it. That stuff I've seen I don't want to get the name wrong. I'm terrible at names, so if the owner's watching, forgive me. It's like Loco Wrestling or something in Texas.
Oh, in Mexico. Was that Texas?
Or Mexico?
I think it was Mexico this past weekend, right?
Tonight of it, and Jimmy's crushing it. I mean, he's in there doing it. So I've wrestled both, and I definitely, I've wrestled Jimmy multiple times. I've only wrestled Dilf once, and that will be the only time. So, yeah,
now
he's doing really well for himself,
Wicked 13.
Huh? What'd you say?
Well, now I know who you're facing in the Wicked 13.
Oh.
It's what you get for talking shit.
Dill? Bro, dude, do it. You want to put me up against Dill? Oh my God. Especially since all the stuff he said about Riley since the last time I blocked him. Oh my God. Please make my day. Make the fans' day. Bring Dill.
All right. Well, I wasn't aware of this outside dynamic that I just learned.
What?
So.
That people don't like Dilf? And that if you put basically any wrestler against Dilf, he's going to get beat up because he's Dilf?
Hey.
No, the beef with your tag partner.
Oh yeah, no, she was just like, he was never that way with me. He was never disrespectful to me, but he would just harp on her. He would harp on her doing OnlyFans. He would harp on all this shit. He would say all these rude comments, to the point where it's excessive. And we're like, yo, you need to chill for real. This is getting. And then one of the news outlets actually called him out on it. Wrote a whole ass article. It's yo, leave Riley alone. You legit are harassing her. No, it's legit. He legit harassed. He would send her fucking messages too, and just mean, horrible shit. So it's he was never that way with me. But it's dude, that's my girl. It's not me. Why are you treating any woman that way? Go get a life, bro.
Especially in wrestling, because. Especially wrestling, women have worked so hard to be treated equal. Where
Riley, dude, she busts her ass.
Yeah,
that girl goes. Yeah. She'll hit as hard as any man too.
Riley goes hard.
She's a powerhouse, So it definitely bugged me. So yeah, go ahead. As a matter of fact, why don't you throw Riley in the tournament and put her against Dilf, and then.
Whoa! I think that would stop being a wrestling match very fast.
That'd be a murder. But it'd be really funny.
Yeah.
It'd be really funny.
Oh man.
It's listen, you never know what could happen in the wacky world of wrestling.
I know. That's the fun, isn't it? It's so chaotic.
And Dilf is local to me, so it won't be
I wouldn't throw him in, but if you want to, it's his funeral, so go for it. I'll have fun. If you put him with me, I'm gonna have fun in this tournament no matter what. Someone's gonna die. I'm hoping it's not me. Just depends on how the cards are dealt. Either way, someone's gonna die in this thing.
Angel, Rich, again, we appreciate y'all joining us here on the Still Steps. Definitely hope to have y'all back on. Hopefully, maybe by before the actual Wicked 13 event happens. By then, hope by that time maybe we may know who your opponent is, so then we could further discuss it. Going in, and I definitely hope whoever you're facing is a Wawa fan. So so something to get a little.
What's gonna happen? Rich is gonna pull up with Dilf in a Wawa shirt. That's what's gonna happen. That's what he's gonna do.
Wait, I've been hitting on people to sponsor the show. I'm gonna hit up Wawa tomorrow and see if we can get Wawa to sponsor this tour.
And wait, she's a what? Sheets fan. Oh, yeah. Put all the money in it.
I'll stand on it too. I'll be right in your parking lot yelling about Sheets. I don't care.
Oh man, Rich, Angel, again, we appreciate y'all joining us, and till next time. So
guys, thank you.
Looking forward to having y'all back again in the near future.
Sounds good.
Appreciate you guys, man. Thank you.
All
Angel,
right,
you talking.
thank you.
All right.
That was Rich and Angel joining us here on the Still Steps. We're going to take one quick break. We're going to get back into some AEW Dynasty preview going down this Sunday, as well as this weekend, WWE, Raw and SmackDown. Till then, we'll be right back.
There you go. Strategic. There you go. Don't fuck it up, dude. There you go. There you go. We are back. Still Steps, powered by All Authentic Talk Sports Network. Politic and Hot. Mr. Joey Woods.
I can't even talk. Was that you screaming ringside guy?
No, that wasn't me. That was somebody else.
All I could hear is ringside guy.
Ringside guy. No,
that would have been so much funnier if that was you yell whip his ass though, right?
Yeah, that was me.
That would have been great if that was you yelling ringside guy.
I had to tag him on that. I'm like, do you remember this 1 year ago?
It's wild to think it was 1 year ago, right?
Facts. What's the
Looking
name?
at my memories on Facebook and stuff. Like,
oh man,
1 year ago today, it was Bloodsport.
Yes. And I think it was Wally Mania too.
Yeah,
because it was all on. I think it was all on the same night.
Yeah, because you guys left Collective and I stayed for DDT and
right.
Whatever that night show was.
Right. Yeah, nah, crazy ass weekend, man. But before we dive into Dynasty, I do want to bring something up that just dropped tonight. Again, shout out to Angel Metro and Rich from Wrestle Death, joining us this evening. It was a pretty dope, fun interview conducted. Especially love the deathmatch talk. And so shocking, the Sheets Wawa war that's beginning here on Still Steps. Didn't think that's something that we will be having going on. But shout out to Angel and becoming a official entry for Wicked 13 tournament. So very, very dope, very dope.
Yeah, and real quick before you said there's something dropping.
Yeah.
Real quick before you do that, real quick on Wicked 13.
Yeah.
She mentioned Mickey, and yes, not last night, Wednesday night, they dropped that Mickey Knuckles is actually entry number 3 in Wicked 13. So possibly we could see that paths cross in the tournament, but
is that the dream death match? We
Yeah.
were speaking.
yeah, so I guess it's possible. But real quick before you announce your news, John Wayne Murdoch in ICW is right now bald, which is
What?
he's bald. He shaved his head.
Oh wow. I had shut it off for a hot minute. I wonder, was it by choice? Did he lose a stipulation match where he had to cut his hair?
I don't know what this, but this match is going on now, about to go hard. John Wayne versus Dr. Redacted.
Oh wow, yeah. That definitely gotta keep that on.
Oh, this is the triple threat, right?
I believe so.
This is John Wade versus Dr. Redacted versus his name is slipping me right now. Is it Takeshi? No, hold on.
Takeda?
Yeah, I'm horrible with these Japanese names, but he's a legend.
Yeah. God
Legend.
damn, they got a lot of shit in the ring. Goodness gracious. No, as we were in our conversation, WWE, there was a quote unquote announcement by KO where he's claiming he won't be able to participate and face Randy Orton at WrestleMania. Has to get neck surgery.
See, I did hear about this week on the dirt sheets, but I wasn't sure how legit it was.
I don't know. I'm torn. I feel like I hate to be the one like, yo, are we being worked?
Bro, what the fuck?
Like, oh wow. Like, did somebody attack him?
No, the fucking one fan just suckered himself in the head 6 times, like to make himself bleed, and then wiped it all over Redacted.
Yeah, I just saw that. That's weird.
That's a little weird.
But
It's a killer
I don't know.
show tonight, though.
Yeah. I don't know. Like it seemed very heartfelt, but also the way Kevin Owens and his character been lately, it's like I don't know, but
like realistically, if he is truly hurt, right?
Yeah.
With everything going on right now, I'm looking like, where would you go with Orton?
Now they could be putting something in the works. Aldis tonight, so maybe he might. Maybe we get Aldis in the ring one more time.
Mm-hmm.
Like see something like that.
I wouldn't be against that. I also right now like looking who's not being used, like a name like The Miz,
right?
Who's always a good heel. If we could get a heel Miz back and a face Orton, that could be a good matchup. But there's possibilities. It's like, damn, it's so close to me.
Yeah, I know. And that, like, I did see something somewhere where they had already made the announcements as far as like what matches going to be on night 1 and night 2, which were, I believe it was, damn, where did it go? I just had it up. I believe it was Naomi G, the 3-way, and I think Charlotte and Tiffy might have been on night 1 as well.
Really? So if Jade and Naomi are night 1, right, and Bianca is until night 2,
right?
I got a weird feeling that Bianca's helping Naomi win, and then Naomi's helping Bianca the next night.
That could be,
which is why it's now a triple threat, right?
Yeah.
Because now Naomi can get involved with no repercussions.
True. And plus the way, like, the nature of her character right now, like, she's like really been like having like this like crazy ass attitude lately.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, something's that definitely got to be going on. But Yeah, I don't know. Like this Kevin Owens thing is like messing with my brain a little bit. Like, like I see a lot of people writing, prayers out to him, speedy recovery. But I'm like, I don't know. Like, is it legit? Like,
You know what's wild to say right now though? Like the way this card's been built and stuff, it feels like it's Roman. I mean, it's Cody, Cena, and then it's just like,
what else?
right?
Yeah.
Like, am I
No.
wrong to say that?
No, I'm with you. That's why last week I was on the ledge because I'm like it's missing something.
And
Like,
I'm so into the Cody Cena match. Like,
right.
you know what I mean? Like Cena, and the reason I'm into it because of my household, right? So I got a 7-year-old son. He loves Cody Rhodes. Everything Cody Rhodes does, you know, he wants to be Cody Rhodes, right? I wasn't quite 7. I was probably 4th grade, so I was probably like 10, right? But I was that Cody Rhodes fan, but John Cena, right? So like,
Right.
it's the generational battle there, right? Where it's like Cena's my Cody Rhodes, so it's so cool to see him with Cody and like me cheering for Cena just because of generation. But like other than that, I don't know. Like obviously I love Jay and like I want him to win, but I feel like it's a foregone conclusion right now that he's beaten. He's beaten Gunther at WrestleMania.
At WrestleMania. Yeah, especially after the beat down on Jimmy.
Yeah, Jimmy's getting involved and helping him.
Yeah. That it makes total sense to do. We were just kind of conversing like as far as like with the the whole Tiffy. It looks like that segment was the shits, and the Chicago crowd was like heavy on the boo birds.
Yeah, like the spot where she mentioned like Kaiser and my DMs and stuff. Like,
Right.
it was a little weird. That's weird because like they don't ever really make it like public. Like it's never like been something that's been talked about in storylines, right? So like obviously fans know behind the scenes stuff more than ever now, but Kaiser's never been brought up before on TV to be like, oh, your Kaiser's in my DMs. Like if someone doesn't know behind the scenes and there's a casual,
Yeah.
they're like, what the fuck does that mean? Right? Like
Right.
seriously, like it's not, I don't know, just to me it was weird.
Yeah. And then we still got this lingering favor that CM Punk is getting, trying to get from Heyman. And then Heyman, just reluctantly, as if like he was trying to lead the arena, looks like, he just agreed to whatever this favor is. Still don't know what the favor is, but he agreed to it. He was under the impression that Roman was pulling up to the arena, but it ended up being Seth Rollins instead.
I feel like the favor is going to be that for WrestleMania, Heyman has to be a Punk guy.
Yeah, in his corner.
Yeah,
I can see that. Or it could be like some sort of deal where if he knows something were to get involved into the match, like, look, you give the chair to me. be a chair standoff. Like Roman wants the chair, Punk wants the chair. Maybe Heyman gives him the chair, or he hits Roman himself.
I think Heyman definitely plays a part.
Yeah, no, definitely. But yeah, no, another week where we're both in the same position where it's like something's missing here. Like
For the card overall, right?
yes, like don't know what it is, but something is missing. And yeah, I don't know. I know one thing. I know Triple H is probably we're gonna have a pep talk like with the talent. Like, listen, like we need to sell this thing. Like we coming down to the tail end of it, and it needs to be sold. Like right now, I don't know. Like, will we see The Rock again before WrestleMania? Or will it be until WrestleMania we see The Rock again?
I don't know. Wait, wasn't he announced
For an upcoming Raw or SmackDown? Well,
I thought I saw him announced for a SmackDown.
let me see. I was about to say I hadn't seen anything.
He wasn't on tonight, right?
No.
Nah, he wasn't. So maybe it was just a fake April Fool's post I saw.
Did you see it on the first?
It was.
It was like, haha, gotcha. No, that's wild. But yeah, no, like it's I don't know, something's not there, like how it was last year. And again, try not to be biased because in Philly, but no, like something's is different about this year. Going into
Well,
the event.
even like right. So like I'm hyped for Cena Cody, right?
Yeah,
But even that seems off, right? Because Cena sold his soul to The Rock, but hasn't mentioned The Rock once yet since it all happened.
no. It's almost like they use that as the leverage. I mean, to get the match. I mean, which does in fact make sense, but have a little bit more of the Rock involved. Like at least at this point, honestly, they could have had at least one Raw where both Cena and Rock are together, and to kind of like, you know what I mean, provide an explanation as far as what, you know what I mean, how we got to where we are. But
Yeah, well, I don't even care about that, right? Because a lot since what was it, Elimination Chamber, right? Since that event happened, it's been a lot of overseas events, right?
oh yeah,
So maybe it's not the easiest for The Rock if he's in America shooting a movie or something. Not the easiest for The Rock to be there, right? But even just mentioning him would be fine.
Right. No, that's true. Yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. That definitely gonna be interesting. Unless they, you know, like really trying to keep everything at a surprise level. I mean, if they are, hey, more power to them. I appreciate it. give it a little bit more, give it a little more shock value to, you know what I mean, to the event. But yeah, let's switch this gear. Oh yeah, shout out to Ricky Saints. You know what I mean, winning the North American Championship over at NXT on Tuesday. And also shout out to Ethan Page making a return to TNA. I don't know if you caught that yesterday.
Yeah, I did.
I was like, oh shit, okay. Like I really enjoy this TNA NXT collaboration. Like honestly, it might be up there as far as probably like one of my the favorite things to watch on television right now. Like, but just to seeing the you know what I mean, the collaboration between the two. And I go ahead.
Honestly, it felt like for a week or so there, I felt like the collaboration stopped, right? Because you went heavy, like you had the Hardys, right, and you had Moose, and then it like for like a week or so, it was just nothing. And then this week it kind of picked back up again, so I'm interested to see.
Yeah, well, of course, you know they're preparing for their pay-per-view event for the Mania week. So, you know, you get a little bit of the you know, the joint work together. Like, no, that's dope though. So, but we do got a pay-per-view coming up this Sunday here in Philly. AEW Dynasty going down at the Leocore Center.
As of right now, only 10 matches, which is not horrible.
Yeah. Shoot. They must have did like 2 different posters in a matter of like 6 hours, because they had the one where it had the 8 and then it came out later on, and I guess it's probably getting me from the carryover from Ring of Honor. I didn't catch Ring of Honor this week where they added the Jericho Bandito.
Well, that was teased a while ago. That was announced a while ago.
Right.
I was reading something today that they said that there was a hold up with Bandito and something, which caused the match to take forever to get officially made. But
I thought they was gonna hold on to it for Supercard of Honor
in AC.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think Jericho keeps the belt, especially because isn't his learning tree challenging for the tag titles?
Yes.
I don't know. I think they lean into that a little more before they save it for ROH show.
That's possible. Yeah, this is definitely solid card though. I will say, Like I saw some people talking about it. It was like, it's not their best. I was like,
So
really?
here's the problem. It's like AEW has done a great job of compelling a roster, right? Where there's like dream matches, right?
Right.
Once you book those dream matches, it's then they have to try to make it work in a storyline. So like last year we had the dream match of Ospreay and Danielson, right?
Right.
Right now there's nothing left for them to give you dream matches. You already got Ospreay Ricochet, you already got Ricochet Swerve. At this point in time, all of those dream matches have been booked up.
Yeah.
So getting those once in a lifetime matches anymore. I think for the parameters that they're in with All In coming up in July, so I think this is a perfect holdover pay-per-view to get you to that point.
Oh yeah. And it's going to get to the point where now it's like, okay, like set aside, like, you know what I mean, don't have those dream matches in your arsenal at this moment. Start telling those stories, like get those stories developing, which they are. I will say, it's interesting to seeing like this whole Hurt Business MJF situation that's going on. With Lashley wanting no parts of MJF, so I'm like, there's a swerve coming somewhere, but
I think he helps them retain this weekend.
I was thinking that, but then I was also thinking, like, would he possibly cost them the title? But then it's like, if they cost them the titles, well, you know what I mean, it would definitely have to go to Bobby and MJF like ASAP.
I think the next feud is going to be Bobby and MJF, right? I think that's the next feud that we see. I think the only way to get to that spot is if you kind of allow him in it, and then friction happen from within, and they break up, and that's where it starts. So I think he helps them retain,
right?
And then or he tries to help them retain and inadvertently costs them, which starts. But I think he comes out to help the Hurt Business, whether it's successful or not. I said Hurt Business, but you know what I meant.
I got
whether
you.
It's successful or not. I think
I might have said Hurt Business too, without even knowing.
That one right there, right? Like,
which one, the trios?
It's gonna be a wild match, I think, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, there's one thing I think we can both guarantee is going to happen, and that's Dax he gonna probably beat the shit out of Cash.
You think?
Yeah. The friction that's growing between the two of them, and Cash already made a point and told Dax, he said, "Listen, after this match Sunday, you and me got to talk." Like, yeah, Dax is, he's.
I don't know if I want to see them solo.
Yeah, I think it's happening, especially with Dax going off the rails over the last couple of weeks. He attacked what's the referee name? Paul Turner.
Yeah, and he left him hanging in there one time, and
yeah. So it's almost the inevitable.
If that's the case, then it makes me feel like Death Riders retain this, which
that kind of puts a damper to our main event.
Because I don't think you'll have Death Riders retain and Moxley lose.
Right? No, wouldn't make sense.
Right. So,
yeah, I don't think Moxley drops the title until possibly All In. Possibly. Then
he drops the title to Ospreay, who wins the Owen Hart tournament.
I can see that. I could definitely see that. Yeah.
I don't know. Like it's that match is so, like, all these matches are so hard to predict.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any open and shut cases. Like, even this match, right? Like, they've done such a good job of building up Bane.
Mm-hmm.
Where at the same time, they just took 3 months to get Tony Storm back to this point. I think the outcome of this match is Tony Storm barely gets by Megan Bane to the point where it's like Megan came out looking better than she went in, just even with the loss.
Right.
Which requires a lot of effort by both women to be able to pull it off. But I think that's the only path, unless you're putting the belt on Megan.
And I was thinking, like, what way could they get away with Tony Storm still retaining without it being like problematic? Because originally I was thinking a possible DQ, but they ain't been ringing no DQ bells.
Yeah, no,
you know
I
what I mean,
think what
in a long time.
happens, I think what happens is like some kind of spot where like they both go for a move and like they both take each other out at the same time and like they're both just kind of like laying there and Tony just lays her on top of her or something and gets the 3 that way. So no one actually like looks like they were more successful or like, put the other one away.
Yeah.
These girls just beat the piss out of each other and someone had to win type of thing.
Now I was also thinking they could probably run a spot where Thunder provides the assist because we still got the back, we still have the story but not so story backstory of Megan's relationship with Penelope, and then Penelope interferes in this match, which then prompts Thunder to come out, to make the assist and helps Tony retain the title.
Well, I like the idea of Penelope getting involved. And maybe Thunder does come involved, but maybe Penelope just get involved and inadvertently costs Megan.
Right.
And we see Megan become more of a face because Tony realizes that this chick is good either way.
Yeah. I like it. Because they still gotta sell, get those Thunder Tits shirts. whenever they decide to press them.
Thunder Tits.
It's happening.
Dave LaGreca on Bust Open said that their intern should be Thunder, and then all the fans would just yell Tits.
Yeah,
Tits.
I heard that.
That's a pretty big deep open though. If like the song goes Thunder,
right?
Between where it's going dun, the fan going Tits.
That would be wild. But he what's the name? LaGreca crazy hit with his rant about the shirts. And then try to make a case about Death Riders, which we had already made that case about the white T-shirt.
Oh, remember that?
Yeah,
that was horrible.
It was like they got a plain white T-shirt that you got in your own closet, and selling them, but y'all can't sell Thunder Tits. Like he crazy though.
I think a reason why they're not selling the shirts is because remember people used to dog them.
Oh yeah,
for making shirts for just nothing, right? Like at one point, people were saying it was a t-shirt company that also owned wrestling, right?
Right.
So I think that's one of the reasons why you don't get a Thunder Tits shirt, because if it's a one-off type of thing, what's the point? Like
yeah.
So.
But which is is likely to be like once this is over, Thunder probably go for for the championship.
I think ultimately, like from a booker standpoint, right? Obviously, in the next year, Mercedes is dropping her belt and challenging for the main title, right?
Right.
I think when you're booking this match here, you're booking it in the fact of when it's time for Mercedes, who you're paying a boat ton of money, who do you think puts on a better match and story?
Mm.
I personally think, and this is no offense to Tony Storm, because I love Tony, I think the bigger woman of Megan Bain would be interesting to see versus Mercedes. That would be pretty cool to see.
Oh wow, a little bit of like David Goliath.
Yeah, but you think like in the even at WWE, right? Like they've never like had someone Megan's size,
right?
Like maybe like a Beth Phoenix, but when Mercedes was on top, Beth wasn't even there anymore.
Right.
Like I would like to see her fight that kind of powerhouse. I mean, I guess Willow's considered like a powerhouse, but Megan's a little different. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see.
Like, I mean, like I honestly would say probably Willow would be more. She's more of the technical wrestler.
She's closer to Bailey.
Yeah.
Than she is like a big like China brute.
Right.
Like, woman. Something I'm interested too about this match here, as well as the Megan Bain match. GCW is kind of like is sort of kind of like a Philly show, right? Like they're local-ish, and Megan's kind of gotten her American eyes on her from GCW.
Right.
To hear her reaction. The same thing with Speedball, same thing with Ricochet. Like Ricochet's always wearing the Eagles hats and stuff like that. Like Phillies fans will support you for that, whether you're a heel or face. You wear the birds to the ring, they're cheering for you.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm interested to see what they do with this match.
Yeah. Oh yeah. As far as the international championship, I think we both agree Omega's going to retain this, right?
So I think Omega retained, but I think this was done in a way to set up a storyline coming out of this between Ricochet and Speedball.
Interesting. That'd actually be pretty dope. Any main event? Moxley and Swerve going at it. I definitely think it's gonna be Moxley. No, I think I'm a roll with Moxley on this one. They for some reason, I think they do want to put that belt on Ospreay, and you know what I mean with this tournament, this would be the perfect way to set that up.
Yeah,
and to build it for All In. So I'm definitely going with Moxley in this one.
But my body. That's all I can think about when I'm talking about this match.
Oh gosh,
there ain't nothing wrong. But I don't know. I mean, I want Swerve, but for some odd reason, I don't know what he's up to. But I always felt like Darby should have, like the way the storyline was originally headed.
Yeah,
Darby was supposed to be the one that ended the Death Riders, right? Like,
right.
He was kind of that Lone Ranger, that Sting versus the NWO type character. But
where is Darby?
Wasn't he climbing Mount Everest?
Oh yeah, that's right.
A couple things that stuck out to me about this feud, right? First was the promo that Moxley dropped last week or the week before, where he was talking about you gotta bleed for this shit and stuff, and like you gotta bleed for the title. And I'm thinking, motherfucker, this guy was in a match where someone drank his blood.
Yeah,
I don't know what you're talking about. Bleed for this, and like you almost talked about like he has to like do this to become a champion, and it's like he was already champion before, so it was a little confusing. My heart wants Swerve, but I think Moxley retains.
Yeah. It's crazy because it's like as much as I would love to see Moxley lose the title, I don't know. It's like in some cynical way, I think this Death Rider storyline is about to get some tread.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy. Yeah, crazy as it is. It's like, all right, now we're beginning to see why y'all got this going on. But I don't know. I think Ospreay should be the one to dethrone him at this point. Like he's one of the pure wrestlers. Like you know what I mean. Like the two of them, has had crazy battles in the past. Like I think this would be the one, to really like put Ospreay over, since his tenure in AEW.
Yeah, I'm a little confused with is no MJF, right, on this card.
Yeah.
Like being this close to New York, New Jersey, where he kind of built his wrestling fan base before he made it to the big leagues. It's a little sure he's not on the card.
Well, I mean, he's in a position where like he really don't have no true feud to have.
Yeah.
Like, like it's crazy. Like he would what's the line? Like you go for the top to not mention at all. Like you're in a position where like you was holding the championship and now you're in a position where you're trying to get down with a faction. Like
yeah,
you had one of the top factions and that shit just dissolved twice. Right. Like this is like it's weird. So
yeah.
But I did have one not a theory on this, but I was thinking about we already went with the syndicate match. I did just want to go back to this one on the Mercedes Julia because I know we were under the perception that it was going to be Athena, but it looks like that may go into All In now.
Boo.
Yeah, unfortunately, but
That's gonna be the finals.
yeah,
That's gonna be the finals.
yeah,
Monet versus Athena.
yeah. I definitely can see that. But I was thinking, is it possible we do get Athena popping up at Dynasty to confront Mercedes one more time?
It's possible, but I think the end game, putting them in separate brackets, that's gonna be the championship.
Right. No, I'm looking forward to their feud. Like that's the one I want to see.
I don't even think like they're so talented. They don't even need a feud. They're the type of women, like there's certain talents where you don't even need a storyline.
Right.
Put them in the ring together and ring the bell, and let it go. There are type of women where you could just be like, all right, go fight each other, and that's all you need. Fans will be in tuned regardless of storyline. Just go fight, and that's it.
Yeah. Damn, I meant to take the clip as far as that picture Athena put up this week where it was basically like their heights, but based on like their long. The tenure with the title. And she had Mercedes like, honey, I shrunk the kids. Yeah, that Joe was wild, but definitely gonna be a solid pay-per-view Sunday. For those that's gonna be tapped in, definitely check it out. Live on pay-per-view as well as Amazon. I think they're on Amazon too, right?
I'm not sure about that.
Well, yeah, don't quote me on that. I know it's definitely live on pay-per-view though. So all right, bro. We are at the 1 hour 50-minute mark. Goodness gracious, long show. We haven't had one of those in a while.
Yeah.
Definitely. But shout out to our guest, Angel Metro, Rich from Wrestle Death Podcast. Definitely check out their respective social media platforms, and we'll get back to it next week. So we definitely gonna get out of here now because we got Seth and Roman in the ring, cutting the final segment of SmackDown. So we'll pick it back up. As far as what goes on at Raw, NXT, leading into WrestleMania. So will we feel like WrestleMania next week? That is the question.
Yeah.
Will we feel like it's WrestleMania season? But it's all good. We're gonna get there. So all right, Joe. This was Still Steps, powered by All Authentic Talk Sports Network. Till next Friday, we'll holler at y'all later. Peace.